We're showing this on Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day, everyone. And oh cripes, my whole skit just went out the brain. I put this on Memorial Day mainly for the fact that we have fallen soldiers that fought for our freedoms. And these soldiers died to allow us to stand up and pretty much fight for those freedoms. You might have to help me out here, dear. Dan is a vet. Rich is a vet. My relatives are vets, and some have died in combat. So this is a day where we support them, support their memory for all those who have fought with us. So that is the main reason why I put this video for tonight. This video, Dan will explain because he was there. He took the picture. He took the footage of how how the march went. So I'm going to shoot it over to him, and he can kind of introduce you as to how the march went and everything else. Go ahead, dear. Hello.
Dan, don't watch the room. You got to watch the chat. You got to talk to us on Skype.
Go ahead. There's a 3-minute lag. Shut off the player.
Audio. Shut off the player, Dan.
Shut the audio off on the player. Okay.
We can't hear him.
Now that I'm caught up with the 21st century.
Hi, Dan. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here.
All right.
I'm here now, and now that I'm not hearing a crowd.
Yeah.
Okay.
You turn that one off. Now you can talk to me. You're doing good. Hey, I saw this video. You did a wonderful job. Now set it up for us. What you did.
Okay. Now what happened was there was a worldwide event on May 25th, Saturday. Now, it started as a small event, but it exploded into a worldwide protest march. It took place in 44 countries. Now, on the video, you'll hear me say 36, but it actually took place in 44 countries that we know of now. So that is tens of thousands of people. In Aberdeen, Washington, we had 65 at the peak. Everybody marched in a heavy rain. For the most part, they really believed in what they were doing. They stayed for the entire hour. David had gone to the extra expense of actually getting a permit. Now, on the video, you're going to notice that there are no police officers, no police cars in evidence. And that's because we didn't get out of control. That was one of David's hot button issues. We weren't there to cause a ruckus. We were there to spread the message. And that's essentially what you're going to see. These people were of all ages. We also had a city councilwoman who joined us for this. And that was really impressive.
And you took your time. You got out there. You marched. You videotaped, you talked, you did all this of your own free will and of your own free time to come back to show us everything that went on.
Yes.
I thank you very much for that.
Yeah, originally I was going to stop being online. And I'm going to say this because it was the March Against Monsanto and Mr. Reed that convinced me that I needed to be back here.
Well,
so, go ahead.
Go ahead, Castle.
Oh, I was just going to say it. With him being back here, even though he doesn't like technology and doesn't like being online, he knows of things that are happening around that he can bring the awareness and help around the cabin bring this awareness to other people out there. Because, you know, if you're going to try and be self-sufficient, I feel you also need to know what's going on around you. Even if it's in your local town, you've got to know what's going on so you can prepare for anything that happens. If you know there's, you know, like Monsanto, if you know they're trying to get more control over our food choices, be aware of that. Start making, you know, start being activists and making your own food choices by growing your food. Like in the interview, you will find that David mentioned that we need to share with our community. We can grow certain crops, our neighbor can grow certain crops, and we can trade and share with the whole community.
Now, I have to say this. I don't like technology. I had problems with it earlier. I had Castle Mom try and fix stuff for me because I was having a heaney online. Okay? I don't like this. I don't like to be out front. I don't like to be the front man. I would rather be out in the woods collecting wild edibles, fishing, having a good time, doing my own thing, living off the land, hiding out there, and camping out all day. That would be my ideal time. But I have to take care of stuff around the house. I have to take care of the wife and the kid. I have things I have to do. And as far as the technology around the cabin, all this stuff goes on, I feel like I would be letting the world down. I would be depriving people of knowledge. I would not be giving back to society if we didn't do what we're doing now.
And it wouldn't honor the sacrifice on this Memorial Day either.
There you go.
All gave some. There's a statement that reads, "All gave some gave all." But there is one extra part of that statement that needs to be said. Some gave absolutely everything, the Tomb of the Unknowns.
There you go.
They don't even have a name. And they gave it all for nothing more than love of country.
Yeah.
And the love of the people.
You know, I respect the president, the office of the president of the United States. I may not like who's there now. I may not like the way the government's run. I may not like a lot of things going on here in the United States. But I respect, this is my country, my flag. I'm here. I respect what we've got. If we decide we're going to change it, we'll change it. But I love the country, and that's the way it's got to be.
And that's why we all did what we did.
Yeah. And that's why we got to continue doing everything we can do. So, all right, let's go ahead and show the show now. You guys ready to roll this thing?
Let's do it.
All right. Mute yourself.
Got it.
Hi, this is Angry Oldtimer on behalf of Castle Mum and Crew and AroundTheCabin.com. We are here with Mr. David Reed, one of the organizers of the March Against Monsanto in Aberdeen, Washington. Today we're going to discuss his views and why he's doing what he's doing. David, thank you for your time. And if you would, please introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Dave Reed, 70 years old, 2 heart attacks, diverticulitis, among other things. And, so that's what I'm doing. I'm a senior citizen, and I'm involved in March Against Monsanto for some really, really good reasons, I believe.
And what are your views on Monsanto's policies?
Monsanto has a behavior pattern like a drug cartel. They bribe officials, and it's fully documented. They put them in their pockets, then they threaten the people with violence and with lawsuits, and they brag that they don't. Nobody wins against them. Now this is total arrogance. But you look at their track record. What is the products, quote unquote products they sell? They sell death and destruction. Whether it's the A-bomb or Agent Orange or aspartame or Sweet and Low or the stuff they add to the cattle, the cows, so that they produce milk longer, which the side effect is it causes little girls to prematurely mature. You know, everything they have has been a problem, and their patent thing is deny. They are from Egypt. They are the queen of denial. They deny everything. And for how many years, when our Vietnam vets come back suffering from what they had from Agent Orange, did they deny it? And there were soldiers that went to their grave untreated for something that was caused by that company. So that's my idea of their policies. It really sucks. It's not, I see no value in it at all.
And how do you think the policies that you just mentioned affect local farming?
Well, on Facebook, which is the new normal society communication, because the puppet media, you know, the media is in the pocket of these corporations, so they won't even talk about March on Monsanto. You won't see a peep of it. There hasn't been yet it's worldwide. Why isn't this news? It is non-news. And as close as Grayland, which is, you know, 30, 40 miles from here, they raise cranberries, and there's pictures of a guy in a hazmat outfit spraying stuff on the cranberries. So this hazmat outfit is the kind that looks like, I don't say it's the same, but it looks like the same kind of things officials use to dismantle meth labs.
And why did you choose not to have corporate sponsorship?
Well, this is a grassroots approach, and we personally, this is an area that's been depressed. Unemployment is far more than the books have been cooked to make you believe. So there isn't a lot of people that have money, and the very people that you know would step up to help us financially can't. You know, they're organic farmers, they're you know, health food stores, that kind of stuff, and not an awful lot of them around here.
Okay, and what is the goal of the March Against Monsanto?
Our goal, like the rest of the goals of March Against Monsanto worldwide, is that we want to publicize and inform people of the problems, the inherent problems of Monsanto as a corporation, and what their business model is. And we need to also inform them that they have a choice.
And what message would you be trying to send to the common person?
That in its publicizing and informing them of the dire consequences that we are faced with, and the situation that we're in. This poison, every plant that they genetically modify becomes a poison plant. It becomes a generator of poison. So if you're spraying this stuff on the crops and it kills the weeds, incidentally, it takes more and more each year to kill the weeds of this same thing, to keep up in the ante. So their claims of less toxicity in the ground is exactly 180 degrees out of phase. It's more, because what they did last year isn't going to work this year, because weeds are like the rest of us. If it don't kill us, it makes us stronger. And unfortunately, that's what happens. The message that we're trying to send to our neighbors, to the community, we believe that if your roots are in this community, then you bloom where you're planted, and then that means that you've got to talk about it, and you've got to explain, and you've got to put some information in their hand. Because believe it or not, a year and a half ago, I was blindly, I did it, spraying Roundup around chain link fence because it was hard to weed whack it. I'm not going to lie about it. I did it. I wouldn't do it now, but I didn't wake up. And our goal in the community is just like every morning, like Dan and I were talking. he wakes up, maybe at 9. I wake up at 5:30. We all have different times that we wake up each morning. Well, then in a situation like this, we all have time that we wake up. A year and a half ago, when I was doing what I did, I'd have probably laughed at somebody if they called me into question for my actions because I didn't wake up. I wish I hadn't done it, but I did do it. So our goal is to publicize and inform, and it's not our responsibility what you do with that. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So that's a freeing thing. You don't have. It's not your responsibility. You don't have to. It's like planting seeds. Not all of them are going to come out. So that's what you got to accept it. And so that's where our goal is. Our goal is seed right now. How do you fight? How do you boycott this monster? You put seeds in the dirt and boots on the ground, and you become active. You got a choice, because that's what we want to tell you. You got a choice. You can sit in that easy chair, kick back, have another batch of snacks, and wash it down with that diet drink, and watch still one more rerun of some reality show, or you can say, no, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. So it really gets up to you. Now, how do you do this? Corporations like Monsanto, their Achilles heel is the damn dollar. So what you got to do is bleed the vampire. And how you do that is you don't buy it. 71% of us are what they laughingly call as consumers. We are not people anymore. We're consumers. Well, if that's the case and the tail is wagging the dog, then the dog needs to wake up and say no more. We're not going to buy this. We're not going to buy that. And that's when you put the seeds in the dirt. And then when we watch their stocks go down, I was told by a couple of friends of mine, all we have to do is hit them for 2 to 5%. When their sales drop by that, we have their attention. Already, some of the retail food suppliers are starting to distance themselves from Monsanto. And what does that mean? That means for us here in the state of Washington, we have an opportunity to strike once again. What happened and what failed in I-37 in California could be passed in Washington. I'm not counting the chickens before their hats, but it could, because they have. I've been told by a senator last night, a state senator last night, that that they don't have quite the money of the $40,000 or $50,000. Because some of these retail suppliers have products have pulled their support. That means they have less money in the war chest. So we're already starting. I challenge all of you to check the mainstream media and see if any one of them talks about this worldwide event. I mean, there is thousands and thousands of people. Now, discouragement. A lot of people say, man, this is David and Goliath, and this sucker is big. This thing is a giant 60 feet tall. Well, that's true. But that Achilles heel, is the money. And you can't bleed the vampire. And we have to be like David. We got to have courage. And there's a lot of us. There is an awful lot of us. We got them hopelessly outnumbered. They're not going to surrender. They're not going to put the hands and give up. But we've got them outnumbered. So we have to be like Jack and the Beanstalk. We got to get up there and slay the giant, but we got to cut that damn poison plant down at the same time. So I think what you need to realize is there is a new Nazi on your doorstep, and he's not knocking nice. He's going to boot the door. And you got a choice. Just like we want a choice in food, you have a choice. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it?
Thank you, David. I appreciate your enthusiasm. Coming up next will be part 2 of Castle Mom and Crew's regular show, in which Castle Mom is going to make homemade ice cream. And on Monday, we will be presenting the remainder of this, in which I will be filming the march and the after rally in Raymond, Washington. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you join us wherever you might be. This is a worldwide event taking place tomorrow, May 25th. It is taking place in 36 countries that I know of now. So far, there are thousands and thousands of people. The United States and Canada need to be encouraged to sign on to label genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, which is what Monsanto, that's their stock and trade. Besides the poisons, they genetically modify all the food, 90% of the food that you eat. These are the only two countries in the world who refuse to sign on to this idea and refuse to support Monsanto. In fact, the Supreme Court recently upheld that their patents must be protected. We need to stop this. As David said just a few minutes ago, we are mad as hell and we're not going to take this anymore. Okay, for Castle Mom and Crew, this is Angry Old Timer, and I will see you next Monday. Enjoy the rest of the show. Bye.
Bye.
People!
Okay, we're turning the corner from K Street.
Very.
Pay attention, Monsanto. We don't want your garbage. The residents of Aberdeen, Washington don't want your poison. I guess you'll get the point when you start losing money. That people driving through, not participating, are in support of efforts to stop Monsanto. All walks of life, all nationalities and ethnic groups, from children to older folks, are represented at this march. Since food affects everyone, this is important. Rich, poor, old, young, all need food. Monsanto is trying to take over that. If they are successful, they rule the world. When people are awake, as these are, they will rule nothing. Should be part of that. Listen up, Monsanto. And this is just one small event. This is taking place all over the world in 36 countries. Pay attention. Monsanto, if you can't hear us, you're not listening. You obviously don't care. March Against Monsanto in Aberdeen, Washington on May 25th, 2013 is coming to an end. The response has been overwhelming. The people marched in a steady rain with enthusiasm and passion for their own beliefs. This is the end of the march, but not the end of the battle against Monsanto. And with that, we will continue this at the rally in Raymond. We'll see you there. For Castle Mum and Crew Productions and AroundTheCabin.com, this is Angry Old Timer. And thank you for watching. More to come later. Okay, we're here at the rally in Raymond, Washington. There's a speaker, Institute for Responsible Technology, various booths. Teaching the next generation how to plant. It's a good start.
Of real-world results, it has begun to appear that much of the best croplands in the world are being subjected to degradation and cumulative poisoning by Roundup herbicide. Even if Roundup use stopped immediately, it would take decades to reverse this poisoning. As a result of Monsanto's heedless pursuit of profit, lack of conscious and responsible stewardship, the world may be headed for worldwide crop failure and famine. Now, I promise I'm going to stop reading for a little bit and work some notes. First of all, how many people here know what an enzyme is? Wonderful. Enzymes are catalysts. They speed up chemical reactions as much as 1,000,000-fold. Every biological and operation in every life form is totally dependent on a catalyst. Without catalyst, nothing happens. Life cannot exist. Now, the enzymes are a form of protein. They're a protein that has a metallic cation attached. Examples, hemoglobin in our blood has to have that one atom of iron attached to the protein, or you're not going to be able to utilize oxygen in your body. Vitamin B12, cobalamin. If you don't have that one cobalt molecule, and that one cobalt atom in the center of the molecule, what's called the reaction center, you're not going to have vitamin B12, period. There is no other way that it can be made except with that trace mineral, the cobalt. And that's the case for 99% of enzymes. They have to have trace minerals available or they can't be formed. Now, an interesting thing about the difference between plants and animals, human beings, we have a portable digestive system that is internal to our bodies. It's dependent on microflora in our intestines, and they are dependent on enzymes to do their work. Plants and fungi have an external digestive system. That's why they can't run around. They're stationary because their enzyme system, their digestive system surrounds them in the soil in which they live. Again, totally dependent on enzymes to do their digestion for them and put their food in forms that they can utilize that they then draw into their bodies. So if we have no enzymes, we have no immune system. We're dependent on those of us who have a weakened immune system. We're dependent on mineral supplements. Zinc, iron, copper, selenium, cobalt. People go to the health food store like Daniel's and they buy these things so that they can perk up their enzyme formation. Daniel covered chelation a little bit. Chelation, the word comes from the Latin chela, meaning claw. And when a metallic atom, a metallic ion is chelated, it's grabbed like in the claws of a lobster. And it's held, and held very strongly. And glyphosate, as Daniel mentioned, was first patented as a broad-spectrum chelating agent. Now that's fairly rare. Most chelating agents are highly specific. They'll work on this or that, but not everything. Glyphosate is a very broad-spectrum chelating agent that ties up all kinds, all categories of metals, trace minerals. In 1976, Monsanto patented glyphosate for use in agriculture. And the way that it works, people think you just spray it on the plant and it kills the plant. No, that's not what it does. You spray it on the plant and it chelates trace minerals so that the plant can't form enzymes. And since you basically give the plant AIDS, you knock out its immune system, bacteria in the soil that the plant is normally resistant to invade the plant and kill it. So you don't just spray Roundup on and kill the plant. You spray Roundup on the plant, basically give it AIDS. You knock out its immune system, and it's killed by bacteria in the soil, which is totally normally resistant to it. Now Monsanto, with their glyphosate, achieved huge sales worldwide. Roundup became the #1 pesticide in the world. They made a lot of money on it. And as years went on, their patent started getting close to expiration. In the year 2000, they were due to see their patent on glyphosate expire, which would have meant competition. Well, what happens when you have competition in any business? Prices go down. The consumer benefits, prices go down, which would have meant less profit from them from their cash cow. So they had a plan. They moved into biotechnology and created Roundup Ready seeds. Monsanto, yes, they have competition. Now there are a number of people making glyphosate around the world, but if you use Roundup Ready seeds, you have to use Roundup. It's in the contract. If you're going to buy seed from Monsanto, you have to use their glyphosate. So they moved, as a consequence of this, totally into biotechnology, and their profit comes from two different flows of case revenue, from their Roundup, their glyphosate manufacturing, and from their Roundup Ready seeds. Now, the problem with glyphosate, as we've mentioned, is what it does. It knocks out the ability of plants to form necessary enzymes. But E. coli bacteria had an alternate pathway for forming one of these enzymes. So by taking genetic material from bacteria, injecting it into the DNA of seeds, Monsanto was able to achieve seeds that could grow in the presence of glyphosate, but they don't grow as well because there are 25 other enzymes that are affected, that are weakened by the presence of glyphosate. Yes, the plants will grow, but they're sickly. It's necessary to use a lot more pesticides, a lot more fungicides, and even then, there's what's known in agriculture as drag. The yields aren't as good. The difference is that using the glyphosate method of farming, you don't have to leave room in between the rows to get cultivating equipment in. You can plant everything. The farmers used to have to leave space between the rows so they could cultivate, get rid of weeds. Now they plant everything and spray it with Roundup to kill the weeds. The plants are still there, the weeds are dead, but the plants are sick. As a matter of fact, since this method of chemical farming started, there are now 40 plant diseases very prevalent throughout the world that never used to be a problem. And the reason for this is the soil is a living system. It's not just dirt. You've got bacteria, you've got fungi, you have arthropods, little tiny microscopic creatures and larger creatures. As a matter of fact, there are, in good healthy soil, there are 10 tons per acre of living matter, both vegetable and animal. And glyphosate poisons many of these species, so that the soil becomes unbalanced. The ecology, the microflora, the ecology of the soil becomes unbalanced to where bacterial pathogens that are normally suppressed by other bacteria become virulent. And this is why there are now 40 plant diseases that are very seriously problems that never used to be.
Alrighty, well, bring yourself back online here, gang. Bring your microphones back up. Make sure kick Dan, make sure he turns his mic back on.
Yep.
Hey, stop that.
Alrighty, well, that was a great march. I'm glad you went down and did that for us. I'm glad you went down and checked all that stuff. He talked about things being unbalanced and chemical having problems and people without no, I mean, he wasn't talking about people, I'm sorry. Yeah, and it all is going to affect us after a while. Now we wonder why we have young girls who are having their cycles at age 9 now, and we wonder why people are growing proportionately the way they are, and they wonder why we have all these physical problems and everything else. But we continue to spray all these chemicals to make everything better. We intend to continue injecting and inoculating it and putting all these hormones and other things into our food to make us better. Yeah, that seems natural, right?
Well,
It's just destroying everything in the long term. Even though when you look at the Monsanto website, they say things are getting better. Yeah, how?
Yeah.
The evidence doesn't show it.
well, not only
I'm sorry,
that,
dear. Go ahead.
not only that, but if you look at their production ratios, ever since GMO seeds have been planted by agricultural farmers who buy and plant these seeds, the final productions have reduced down to like 15%. They're not getting a yield like they counted on. So the farmers are losing out on money because they're not getting as much of a yield. And the other fact of GMO is once you plant GMO, you have to use the Roundup fertilizers, and you have to buy nude seed every year because they have also introduced this Terminator seed that I believe David Reed mentioned in his interview, that this Terminator seed kills the seed to where it cannot reproduce. So the farmer has to buy new seed every year. So
And
he's
that
going
seed-
under automatically.
Yeah, well,
And that seed costs twice as much as the original seeds that everyone should be using.
well, then you
So
also have
the
fact,
farmer's in debt.
then you also have the fact that some farmers are getting paid not to plant,
Yeah.
and he who
Well-
controls the food controls the masses.
Right. The main thing we can do as American people is stand up and make wise choices as to what kind of foods we buy, what kind of seeds we buy. Start gathering your heirloom seeds, your traditional seeds. Now, some hybrids are not GMO. But make those choices now. Plant gardens. Share with your neighbors. In larger towns, you cannot plant a garden in your front yard
Can't
or
plant a
even
garden-
your backyard.
Cannot plant a garden in my area unless you get approval from your neighbors in writing that you're able to plant a garden, because it might be an eyesore to certain neighbors. Of course, certain
Exactly.
neighbors-
Yeah, it'll be sore all right when they're starving to death.
Yeah. Well, you guys have seen the video I put up. I'm not going to get up on a soapbox here too much, but let me jump in real quick. Now, they say there are 5 things you need to survive. Okay? Air is a given, so I usually don't count that. So I say 4 things you need to survive. 4 things to survive anywhere in the world. Okay? 4 things as a human we need. Air is a given, so let's not count that one. You need water. You need food. You need shelter. And you need some form, as they say, fire, which would also be electricity or gas or something like that. So if they control your electricity, your gas, your fire, your power, any kind of electric stuff, or a way to heat, cook, all that stuff, if they can control that, if they can control the food you've got, if they can control your water, which they are right now, they're passing laws all out west. You guys have seen it. Not allowed to collect rainwater, not allowed to dig wells, not allowed to do other stuff. And they can control your housing. Well, by golly, you need those 4 things to survive anywhere in the world.
Well, there's a fifth.
Shelter, food, water, and housing, and fire. Shelter, food,
There
water, and
is-
fire.
There is a replacement for air, and that's the one thing they still cannot control. Your
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah.
They can't control your thoughts. They can't control your will. And if we have the will, they won't win.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. But you can hold his ass under there until he quits kicking, can't you?
Right.
So,
But yeah, and in the chat room it was mentioned that who could live off grid, who wants to live off grid. Not everybody can. Some people are in apartments. Well, if you're in an apartment, Go to your farmers markets to get more organic. Go to your local farmers outside of town. If you live in a house, if you are able to plant, go ahead and plant.
Well, let's
But
think
even
about
if you can't, even if you can't live off grid right now, you can make the steps to change your food choices. Stop buying prepared foods. Get off of the prepared foods, if at all possible. I lost almost 100 pounds. Believe it or not, I lost over 100 pounds by getting off of GMO prepared foods and getting off of soy. It can be done. It's just a choice.
Now I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight and being here with us. I want to thank everybody who's shown up in the room. Endeavoring Mama back. How big was the baby? That's what I want to know. And how is the baby?
Oh, yes. Congratulations, my dear.
I want to jump in on that. Go Green, welcome to the room. Silo's in there. Simps is here. Sleep No More. I thought that was a lamp over in the corner. Hi, how's it going? Everybody has Cortez. I don't know who you are, but welcome to the room. Dory, thanks for being here. Everybody else, Foggy, I'm not going to read the whole list, but thank you all for being here. 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Okay. And everybody doing well there? That's what I want to know. Endeavoring, is everybody doing okay? That's the big important thing.
And I wanted to make a special thank you to David Reed, who helped us and helped Angry Old Timer get this special show together. Thank you, David, and we will be in touch.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say it on the air. Something we were just discussing behind the scenes, David. If you're interested in this, and I'll make this option to you, and everybody else in the room can hear this, because Monsanto is such a huge part of everybody's life. We're gonna kick around making a page. Maybe we'll call it the Monsanto Mush, or we'll come up with some kind of catchy name for that. Maybe we'll make up a page where we can have little tidbits come in, information from Monsanto up there. We'll put this wonderful video that Angry Old Timer has shot for us up there on top of the page, so anybody wants to watch it, they can watch it whenever they want, because you can't get enough of this. And we'll have little RSS feeds or something like that coming in, and a link back to Dave. If David's got a web page, I know he's got a Facebook. If he's got other things he's interested in, we'll talk with him and do that about, because you know, it affects us all. It affects us all here around the cabin, at each one of our cabins, our houses or apartments, whatever your cabin may be. It affects us there. And I couldn't think of a better thing to put up than a small page dedicated to getting out from underneath the thumb, underneath that black thumb of Monsanto. Instead of a green thumb, I consider them having a black thumb. And maybe we need to have that information out there for everybody so they all can know. How about that? Anybody like that idea?
Love it.
Well, looks like I'm back to work.
You're always back to work. Yeah.
I'm always back to work.
I don't know. Maybe you can have Dan work on that. There you go. Let's have Angry Old Timer work on it. Make this his baby.
Well, I have another project
You always
I
come,
have
you
in
always
mind.
say, every time I ask you to do something, you always tell me you got another project.
No, I actually do have this project. I need to get my butt out of the house, though,
Yeah.
and go do more of this.
All right.
Well, come back, folks, in what is it going to be? An hour and a half?
Less than a half an hour.
Less than a half an hour. Come back for Troy.
Yeah. I'm going to shut this down and reopen it up, play a little bit of music about quarter till, and so you guys can hang out here in the chat room. I'm just going to turn the video player off for a while and run and get a new drink and go to the restroom and stuff like that. And Troy will be in at 9 o'clock. Now, tomorrow night, we do have a news flash. Tomorrow night, Dude will not be making it. He is going to a graduation, and he has notified me earlier today, so we will play in a movie tomorrow night. I've got one keyed up, and we're going to play a movie tomorrow night in his stead because he will not be on. So,
Well, that's the end of our special, and thank you, everyone, for joining.
I want to thank you guys for being here, and I want to thank both of you for your hard work in this. I know, Castle, you did a whole lot of editing and chopping and putting together, and Angry Old Timer, you got out there and marched in the rain and videotaped this, and I know you took a long ride to go from one to the other and sitting down. And Mr. Reed, I thank you very much for talking with us and sitting down with Dan and doing all that stuff, and I can't thank the three of you enough. You did a great job, and we'll get this information out there, post it up and get it going.
My pleasure. Thanks for